Hello and welcome to Moments Portal, a podcast where members of the Global Innovation Gathering share stories on global innovation. I'm Daniela Marzaban.
And I am Stan Gay. Together we'll be hosting this first episode, introducing you to the podcast and to the Global Innovation Gathering through our guest Fadia El Hadim.
Well, Fadia is the operations lead and community manager of the Global Innovation Gathering, so she knows everything about this network.
Welcome, Fadia.
Thank you, Star. Thank you, Daniela. Very excited about this podcast happening. So I'm Fadia. I am based between Berlin and Egypt. Egypt is where I grew up originally, and I work as an operations lead and community manager for the Global Innovation Gathering. Global Innovation Gathering is a network of cool people. That's how I like to start. Cool people that came together from the global south, different countries, and they share certain ethos and certain values. And they just came together discussing all the great things that they've been doing in their different parts of the world. And it came spontaneously, right? As they met in Republica back 9 years ago, almost, at the Makerspace. And from there, the network itself developed organically. These people just felt an immediate connection. They felt that there was something of value being shared as they come together this one time a year, and they decided to stay in touch. So that's the story of the Global Innovation Gathering in the most simplest form.
So we are part of this cool gang, Star, I think.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
And one more question maybe for the listeners. If anyone out there wants to become member of Global Innovation Gathering, what do they need to do?
So our network grows by the system of referral, right? So we know that our members know other people that are sharing the same culture of open knowledge, of innovation, of that intersection between tech and innovation and open documentation. And then what happens is they recommend that person to the network. I am just the facilitator, so I forward this to the rest of the network. And after that, if no one has objections, they automatically become part of the network. We have a community event now that is happening called Meet the Members. It happens once a month. This is where our members come together with a newly joined one so they can learn about each other. This is happening online at the moment. And then there is, of course, the coming together once a year, like this time of the year during Republica and our own Global Innovation Gathering.
What
so
is
it's a
Republica?
referral. Republica is this huge conference that is established around concepts of technology and digitalization in the society and their role and intersection in the society. And they bring speakers from all around. It's based in Germany, but also recently there has been more international aspect to it by bringing speakers from around the world that are concerned with the same topics. During the Republica, you're exposed to people that are working in the tech industry or in NGOs, makerspaces, innovation hubs.
Yeah, so I have a follow-up question about the membership. So what if I do not know anyone in the gig network, but from what I do, from what I'm reading, from what I'm hearing in this podcast, I feel like this is something I want to join. Could I reach out? How does that work?
Absolutely, you can reach out. We're always happy to know people that are interested in us because that's the first point that tell us that we have a lot in common, right? If you're interested in this culture,
absolutely.
if you're interested in
Yes.
mentality. So how could you do this? If you go on the website, there is the hi@globalinnovationgathering.org email. You can start by writing an email to this one, or you could just go over to the Teams page and get in touch with any of the team members and just introduce yourself, your organization. We don't only accept like organizations, we also have individuals.
Yeah.
Actually, originally it's based on individual membership, and just recently we've introduced the hub membership.
You mentioned that the Global Innovation Gathering members have a shared ethos. Could you tell us more about it?
My understanding of it is open culture, right? It's the openness of
absolutely.
documentation, sharing knowledge, innovation, intersection of tech, education, and openly sharing with the rest of the world where everyone are on the same level, where there's no hierarchy between the teacher and the person learning. The beauty of the gig or the Global Innovation Gathering is that I think everyone would define it in their own way, and it would all come down
Yes.
to this concept of being open.
So do you have any questions to us about what we are
No.
doing here?
Yeah, you
Yes,
could.
I would be very interested to know, how did this idea for the podcast start? How did it all start?
Well, earlier this January 2022, yeah?
January 2022.
Yeah, we were in a supervisory board meeting. Daniela and I are part of the gig supervisory board, and we just wondered, how do we reach out to people? How do we answer this question, who is gig? Because that's a question I keep getting all the time.
And it's hard to answer.
Yeah, it's a very difficult question to answer in a way that will just tell the story properly. So we thought, why not the members answer this question for us? Why not we ask them, what gig is to them? And that's where, that's in the chat. That's where this idea started.
So the supervisory board is being elected for 2 years within the gig organization, and our role is basically to support and advise, since we sometimes are very, very old members of the community, even if in this podcast we'll just ask questions as if we don't know anything, which will be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to it, to having like this child's curiosity and asking questions, listening and not talking too much. And we thought, okay, how can we bring value besides our 2 times a year meetings? And together with Pavel, so we are a group of 3, we met several times and thought about the concept, the technology. This is work in progress and we are prototyping it. We're not professional podcasters.
No,
so
we're not.
we really, really like geeked into it.
Oh, it's a very gig thing to do, no?
Yes,
You're like,
yes.
okay, I'm going to try this.
Let's try.
Let's see where
I
it
have
goes.
no clue about it. I think I'm pretty good at it. So I wanted to tell a little bit about the concept and the setup just for the listeners. So we came up with this storytelling, actually user research method that is established and actually was introduced by Yanis on a conference during the pandemic where we tried to create empathy through a screen. And it's called a Moment Portal. And a moment is a transportation device that brings your listeners from where they are to the place you want to bring them. During the pandemics, we had no possibility to jump on a flight, on a train, on a car to travel somewhere. So we came up with these stories as transportation and travel devices. And the power of story is that if you truly listen and the story has a beginning, a middle, an end, a community of concern, a challenge, a plot, you feel like reading a really good book. So we want to invite the members to take us to a moment where they truly felt carried by the Global Innovation Gathering and give us very specific indications. When was it? How did it feel? Who was there? And the second story we asked them to share with us is take us to a moment where it became clear to you that innovation is not a Western affair, that innovation is happening in Kenya, is happening in Egypt, is happening in Nepal. So these are the two questions, trigger questions that we have, and we invite gig members to help us travel to their world through the stories.
That's amazing. I really look forward to hear members talking, and I think maybe gig is best defined by its members.
Yes, I think so too. Yes, and hopefully with this, then if someone asks me, what is gig, I can just say, okay, go find out. It's gonna be very interesting.
It's a collection of beautiful stories.
Oh, it is. I can assure you it is. Okay, so Fadia, thank you so
much
for being here, being part of the team and helping this network to keep growing. And we're so very grateful that we still have the network.
Thank you. I'm very, very happy to be here with you physically, really appreciating that moment after the past 2 years, as you said, Daniela.
Yes.
Thank you, Star. Thank you, Daniela. It was lovely.
Thank you. Bye-bye. A Moment's Portal is hosted by Daniela Marzavan and Stan Gay. Sound and editing, Dominik Grignac. Technical support, Pavel Gay. Music by Monster Logo Studios.